The Keshe Foundation is extending
Share.
The Keshe Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and specialty to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Keshe Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. Keshe Foundation Ghana, in association with Ghana Atomic Commission and Ghana Spaceship Institute, would like to invite you to attend the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference, October 17th through 19th, 2016, in Ghana. Keshe Foundation Ghana's mandate is to build awareness and promote research into plasma technology. The Foundation is presently working with governmental institutions and other interest groups in Ghana to fulfill this goal. At the conference, you will be afforded the opportunity to learn about and experience plasma technology firsthand. The cost of admission to the conference includes 3-night stay in one of Ghana's prestigious hotels. Hotel packages include a single, double, or twin room option, and an option for an apartment or suite. Breakfast, tea, and coffee breaks and a buffet lunch on the days of the conference are also included. Keshe Foundation Ghana is focused on utilizing plasma technology to solve numerous problems facing the African nation. Come to the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference in Ghana. Learn about plasma technology and learn how you can participate in spreading the word about it. Together, we can bring freedom to Africa and humanity. And we hope to see you there.
Welcome everyone to the 142nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we are here with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, and we will have a report today from the conference in Ghana and some other things. There's workshops going on around the world. We'll likely hear from some of the local workshops in the Washington area. And Mr. Keshe, are you ready to go there today?
Yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to us, we say good day to you from the most sunny, beautiful place, warm Ghana. As a lot of you know, we always, as usual, into where we have the conference. Our team, usual team, was here. Thank you to Stanley and Ella. Thank you to Benjamin. He's done a most fabulous job. Thanks to Alex flying in from Nigeria to be with us to present his knowledge in the conference, and I would like to thank Dr. Wata in flying from Kenya to present the agricultural side. I think with those, and if you have seen the Ghanaian press, and we now are aware the knowledge has been and the information has been shared with other African nations, because there were some from other nations present. The breakthrough which will change the course has started. In the presentation, as you see, we are dealing, the presentation was part of the Ghanaian Atomic Commission, and as you see, leading and what they call militaries were available, present in all 3 days, and actually the numbers as the message got through increased to the 3rd day, which is very unusual that the conference tails off usually on the 3rd day, but we had more people on the 3rd day than we had on the 1st day. The head of Atomic Ghana Commission was present, and this has changed the course, very much so. There was something we told you we would not disclose till we arrive. We came to Ghana with one thing in hand, one mind, and that was to change the course and bring peace to this nation and Africa. And we have achieved. In so many ways, the surprise was that we brought with us products which can affect malaria, HIV, and cancer in a matter of hours. We have offered the material to the government of Ghana, and other representatives of other countries were present. So we have offered it to the whole of Africa. In the coming days, we have been set to start the full cooperation and development with different nations, and especially with Ghana, in different shapes and forms with different forces. What we did, and we requested, and it seems to be coming answered response, was to bring the military to work with the scientists. And what we hear, the military is in favor, because we explain it's no good having the knowledge if we cannot spread it across the nation. And the only way you can spread knowledge like this that saves a child's life, or a father that will be with his family because of a malaria or because of HIV, is that the soldiers to be trained to take the knowledge through and teach it in every way, as is the work of the Keshe Foundation. We exchanged knowledge for peace. The only way we can get to the peace for the nation is when the military is involved. And you see amongst them different armed forces present, security services were present. If you read the article, it tells you all the security forces, even the African, Pan-American security forces, were amongst us, because the message was very clear. The technology, the change is for Africa. We are not in the hand of a few fools who can write whatever they like. Now the technology has been tested by Africans, by Ghana Atomic for over a year. This summit is not a talk. The data they have collected. In the presentation, the Ghanaian scientists who've done the test presented their side of knowledge and their papers and their data. So it's not that we talked, it's that a year of collaboration, cooperation, purely by dedication of one man, Benjamin, has brought about this change. The change is fundamental. African nations, now they understand, they start moving, and in collaboration with the Atomic, this is the Atomic Commission official papers. As it says, we signed a memorandum, we told you a long time ago, this is official confirmation, Ghanaian Atomic Authority's pages, as you see. The Commission has done tests for every aspect of contamination, bacteria-wise and sediment, and other things. So they knew what is to come, and this was the confirmation of what has happened for months. Here, and we informed you, we carried you through with us, and Benjamin continuously reported from Ghana. The breakthrough is that now all the tests, all the data, all the papers, all the knowledge will be shared with the rest of the African nations. This is one part of the process we've done. As you see, the gentleman in the middle of the picture, the white, is a ambassador to European country. He stayed in all the way through, in all the conference. And we see diplomats, politicians who came in and they sat, scientists. This presentation was 90% or 80-90% all nuclear physicists of a highest caliber. They were literally the cream of Ghana, were there to understand how we can collaborate to change different aspects, and they can start collaboration together. I think this conference was very beneficial for the Atomic Commission and the Ghanaian government and officials in actually gelling the whole of Atomic Commission and the military together. From now on, anything we release will be in conjunction with both. We work closely with security services. We release the name, what we call it, the data, and the name of the products and how we use it for their soldiers to carry it across the country. And the agreement, verbal agreement, more or less, I have received different confirmation. It will be starting, and it will start from more or less already in progress. And next week we set up the pattern. Keshe Foundation came to Ghana to make a change. And we have made the change. From Ghana to Kenya, to Nigeria, to Mali, to Togo, to South Africa, and the rest. This process has started internationally in such a scale that the governments have and start looking into it. And they are getting involved. This morning we have received that one of the biggest cancer agents, we released the data, which is, and has killed many people in United States. And in Europe has become now one of the biggest problems for governments, which the poison had entered the food chain. We were asked about 3 weeks ago to look into it, because past 15 years they have not managed to find a solution for. The poison is very much like what you see in this conference. The poison is different, but understanding the technology is the same. This poison is one of the most dangerous poisons which has entered North European waters. Governments do not know what to do, and produces cancers, creates cancers in zero time, more or less. Is a byproduct of one of the materials which we all use every day in our houses. The mother company in United States was fined $360 million plus, and it got number of cases pending for creating cancer. We received the official results yesterday from the laboratories of the what we call government of Italy, that the effectiveness of reduction is 90% after 2 weeks of testing. Talking to our guys in Italy, and the official papers will be released to us today or tomorrow. This changes a lot of things, especially for North America, and especially for Italy, Switzerland, Austria, and Germany, and part of France. The waters are contaminated highly in that region. It's a byproduct which is entered, and up to now, they could manage to pilfer 250,000 liters a year at a cost of $100,000 or 100,000 euros. With this data which has come out of the lab, from the governmental lab, and is actually very scientifically analyzed, we have achieved 90% plus in the first test. All it is to increase some of the parameters and to achieve 100%. You will hear it in the European newspapers in the next few days, because it's so fundamental. It is such a big change. It's the same with atomic. We received the confirmation again in past 2-3 days. As you all know, we were heavily involved in Fukushima, and now official test by the Japanese scientists in Tokyo has started. The first products were completed this morning in Tokyo. The procedure has started, and the whole of Japanese government is watching the process. This is the replication of what happened in Fukushima with TEPCO. This is this time done independently by the universities, by one of the leading scientists who graduated from this university some 20 years ago. And now the process has started in evaluating the cancer, the reduction in radiation and contamination of the body, and in the process of other diseases. I thank the heads of Tokyo University, one of the leading scientific universities in Tokyo in Japan. We thank you for accepting the challenge and starting the process. We will release, in conjunction with Ghana Atomic, the Tokyo University, and with Italian authorities in the nuclear section, the results. It won't be more than 4 to 6 weeks. This is fundamental. Now it has become multinational at a governmental level, and they have tested and they've seen the results. Keshe Foundation, through the data we have, and we will confirm more or less on daily basis, we can eradicate malaria totally in Africa. Trials in 2 countries starts this week. The beauty with this technology is that all of us can use it, is the knowledge on the table. And from now on, whatever we do, we share with national securities. We share with governments directly. And at the same time, we will stand for governments to promote. As you just read on that article about the Ghana Atomic, the pre-interview Ghanaian television was repeated 2 or 3 times before, because they received such a interest from the Ghanaian public regarding what it was to come. and it was carried on for the presentation. From now on, we don't go just disappear. From now on, all the developments, production of all the materials, data tests, everything will be in public. We have requested, and hopefully it'll be agreed, that we go on the Ghanaian television once a week and we teach the public how to produce and how to use. The public is aware of this conference. If you go through all the television channels and media of the Ghana, they all have reported it. They've given it the full coverage. Now we have invited the televisions to come once a week, and Atomic Commission scientists will teach it. From there, due to the position of Ghanaian Atomic, in collaboration with different nations across Africa, the students and the people who are here from different African nations will be taught at the same time. So we have brought not only the government of Ghana into work through the commission, we have brought the Pan-African across the whole table. We have now that they see the success through the military, they will use their militaries to spread the knowledge. This is a huge success, and it's thanks to all of you. It's you who have kept the foundation in front. It's you who have delivered test and after test. On the back of this process, on the other sectors of the Ghanaian Atomic, the energy production will go into production. Ghanaian Atomic, Ghanaian government, Keshe Foundation have signed, and they go into joint production on the Ghanaian Atomic grounds premises for production. It's been insisted that it has to be done within the parameters of the Ghanaian Atomic, which means we will develop, we operate inside a governmental structure, and the benefit will be directly through the whole of Africa. Let me explain to you what is part of the beauty of this technology. We have developed and tested that we will announce. At the moment, for example, if you have a single tumor, large tumor, they give you radiation therapy. And then there is success of the radiation therapy with all its side effects, and then chemotherapy is horrendous. One of the doctors present said we lose so many patients with the first injection of chemo because the body cannot take it. The answer, through the test done in Tokyo, the injection of the new plasma material which we have developed directly into the tumor. From the data which has been received, the tumor disappears within 6 to 8 hours. Does not matter about the size. The only thing we see is the cavity. It dissolves, and the energy of the tumor becomes the energy of the body of the man. These tests will be done by the doctors which are and part of Tokyo University structure and Ghana, and in a few days' time, most probably in Italy. We have made a connection and a link between the 3 continents, scientists working together, and it seems they all enjoy it. It's a joint collaboration. I've asked all to join us, and no one has refused. I've just written an email to the Dean of the University, Tokyo, and the email I received from him, in a way, what he says, you could not have chosen anyone better than the person who's here on your behalf in our lab. He was one of our most highest celebrated students 20 years ago. And when he came with the proposal, we could not refuse to one of our highest students. And the documents we already know, we just want to confirm. So, if you have a tumor cancer, we have the answer. The beauty of it is, from the research in Japan, there are no side effects. No side effects whatsoever. There is no toxicity and there is no more tumor. The test with malaria, what we have done and what we developed is the same. What we are targeting is change of environment in the body of the man of a parasite. And it works. We have certified documents and now we bring it out in public. These will allow, in a very real way, we cannot, as part of the ITAS Education Foundation, doesn't matter if we deal with governments or animals or human beings or trees, destroy one to the other. With a new process which we have developed that will be used like a water, you change the environment that the malaria mosquito cannot live in the environment. You got to realize mosquitoes are part of one of the essential parts of the life of other species on this planet. We are looking at, and it's highly possible, we announce it very soon, from the data we have, we can make a vaccine out of this product. It is highly possible. You have to understand malaria is a parasite. Vaccines are usually good with viruses and the others. Parasites are living things. And there is a high possibility that we can deliver this material. Or we can change the environment that malaria mosquito does not want to live in the environment which is introduced, but it can live outside, across. What we see with the malaria water is that there is a possibility that we can reproduce it in a way that we can leave the small bottles of the product in water tanks. And this process will not allow the creation of only mosquito malaria larvae. This all takes a few weeks, no more. We are not talking about years of research. We know we have the material with us, which once injected into the blood of the man, within 4 hours, this is the confirmation from scientists in European laboratories. Within 4 hours, doctors cannot find any more malaria parasites in the body. This changes the game, and this is what is needed in Africa. You got to realize something very simple. I have spoken for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. In the past 15 minutes, according to United Nations data, 2 people have died of malaria. Over 30,000 officially and 65,000 unofficially die because of malaria every year. It means we are wasting time. By the time we finish this process this morning of teaching, over nearly 20 people have died of malaria. The African scientists of Ghana and other nations in the conference understood the urgency. We put the bottles on the table. We told them, you test it. We haven't come with theory, we have come here with the products, and we want it to be tested now. The strange thing is, in the same course of the teaching today, thousands of people will go down with a malaria attack, which never get reported. They go in their silence, in shivering and pain, and there is no solution. Now there is a solution. Total cost per person per year, most probably less than $1. This is why I invited the military to join us in this endeavor, and understood. And the strange thing is, the malaria scientists came on board. The malaria military, they came themselves as, we have malaria, we want to be the first candidate. And all we did, we took them across from military to the Ghana Atomic Hospital people, and we said, there is your volunteer. Your head of police has the malaria, he wants treatment. People just came in themselves, volunteering, the officials themselves. I have malaria, I want it now. I had to tell a high-ranking military guy that please come on Monday morning to Atomic Ghana and it'll be organized. The results are so effective that it cannot be denied. The economical cost is so insignificant that the country can afford it. This is the change which you have brought. This is the data which you as Keshe Foundation Worldwide has brought forward. In the next few weeks, we'll release the same data for cancer. Cancer efficiency is 100%. Literally 100%. If you got cancer and you're looking for a solution, go to Keshe Foundation, doctors at Keshe Foundation. You have to come to Ghana. Ghana will become the center of excellence for cancer, malaria, and HIV. We have told them to open the hotels and the hospitals will be open. The only thing is, you have to pay for it. This time you pay for treatment. The funds supports the research in Africa. You value your life, get yourself a ticket, come to Ghana. We'll come to an agreement with the government, visas will be issued for healthcare. Ghana becomes the center of excellence for a space health program. We are inside the atomic. They have the data and the research and development has been done here. You can go, you got loved ones who are dying of cancer. Now it's a ticket to Africa. Africa gave you life and now support it. We will not release this technology anywhere in Asia or Europe. It's Pan-African. Come to Ghana with cancer, go home without. Doctors at Keshe Foundation, doctors at spaceshipinstitute.org. You submit your application. You can travel to Ghana. You need only injections for yellow fever. We accept you openly in the Ghanaian Atomic Energy Hospital. Stay with us for a few days. Go back home with no cancer. There is no freeze. We have given enough freeze. African has given all his life and time and material for years free to Europe. Now you pay to come back in and get it. And that finance will pay for research, development and sharing the knowledge and allowing Africa to get out of this riddle of misery of malaria, HIV, which was introduced into the circle by European and American structure. We are not fighting no pharmaceutical. We are delivering our own technology. I have asked Armin, who was here with us, to start the manufacturing of decontamination packages in United States, Arizona factory. the new decontamination, it'll take another week, 2 weeks. Once Armand goes back tomorrow, you can buy it, keep it, have it handy as a life support in the case of nuclear accident, which is possible. We've seen it. All you need to use, follow the instruction. Every day, whatever you absorb in your body as nuclear material will wash out. It's a specific mixture. We know it's correct, it works, it has worked in Fukushima. We release data on how to do it. What you call the life support kits for radioactive decontamination will become part of the products on the Keshe Foundation manufacturing. You got to understand one thing. We were blocked by those who had clandestine activities and interest. Now the whole of Africa has the freedom of it. We accept pay in Ghana from today. Go to Keshe Foundation, sign in, value your life, how much it's worth to donate to Africa. There are no frees. According to what you pay and what your government pays for your chemotherapy, around about $150,000. What you pay to get cancer surgery, and then we know how much your life worth. You've been asking us how to do it. We have the freedom to do it through the governmental structure, through governmental hospital, and you can come, sign in, come in, and you know you're part of the testing structure. We know the results. We send you go home in less than 30 days with no cancer. Our biggest problem, as we discussed with someone which is very high within the structure, how are we going to cope with this? Nothing. We open more hospitals in Africa. Ghana is the first one. Come in. You do it. We invite you to come to Ghana. Walk in with cancer, walk in with HIV, walk in with malaria, go home with none. The only thing is to do is to enjoy the sun and the beach while you're getting processed, not staying in the hospital. You organize your hotels. We organize the hotel of the body of the man. The game has changed. Those who wanted to see the end and wrote whatever they want, now we hand you over to the security people who know what you've written. Your freedom is limited. The freedom of the man has started. Something which is important to understand is how the next steps will come. Next Thursday, we announce the members of the World Council. The 6th world member of World Council, the new government for this planet, will be announced next Thursday. 5 have accepted their position. And the 6th, which we have chosen, I will explain next Thursday how and why the criterion was chosen, will become the new leadership on this planet. The Universal Council has already operational, and the two work hand in hand to spread the knowledge which you have today and we spread through Ghana and grow in Africa and the rest would be their decision. Keshe Foundation will submit all its work through world government, what we call the World Council. What we were making to make one nation and one leadership that only works for the peaceful and application of the technology for humanity has been set. The criterion of choosing the 6 was very easy. Those of you who accepted the position, I thank you. Your name will be remembered by humanity. Your work starts next Thursday. The World Council will have the ultimate say on everything which the Keshe Foundation will do. They see the whole structure, they see the benefit for the whole humanity, and the work of the foundation will become part of their structure. We will announce the seat of the World Council next week, most probably, or within a short time. We set up the Universal Council to bring all the man through the language of understanding of their soul. Now we bring the man's what they wanted to become one. And what we call the World Council members are not the leaders. They are there, as the name goes, to consult, to understand, and to bring the whole thing together. No one has a voting right, and no one can buy others' promise. They work as one team, and the people we have chosen are pure in their soul. On the other hand, the whole structure is on the move. As I said in the conference, the arms and the armed forces become the arm to help and not to kill. And understood by the men of military and security present in the conference. The beauty is we don't need to fight. The beauty is they fight to be correct. Now they start seeing the result. As I said in the conference, in Europe, in America, malaria is a name. In Africa, in South America, in Southeast Asia, in parts, malaria means not having food on the table when the father dies. It's real. It's not others' problem. It's my problem. In Africa, HIV meant a lot of children went into the abuse by those who sit in Europe. This was the biggest fear of those who sit and opposed us and open all sorts of websites. By coming to Africa, by allowing no more man to die of malaria and HIV and the others, the supply of children will die. And that was their biggest fear, and now their fears have become reality. And the father is there, will not give his child, or his child will not be taken because you're going to look after your child very well, but in places for abuse by the others. Past few days, British government has released data on how many of children who came across have been murdered and gone missing by pedophiles. So data on British news. 3 children have been murdered coming through this channel by abuse. 47 missing in the hand of pedophiles. And they write. You don't hear it in Europe or in America. It's heard in Africa what is happening to the children of those lost parents with malaria and the others. It is real. And if you can stop the father to die for the child become part of the child trafficking and the others' right to support themselves, that they are right with it, now you understand why they're howling and shouting. It has sequence and it has consequence. The interesting thing is, now the energy production systems will come out of Africa too. In the presentation, we said, as they were the directors of the Ghana Atomic present in the meeting and their management, we announced that some of them are already using the power units and they're already seeing reduction in their bills. Why shouldn't this become for the whole of Africa? And it became silence. Nobody wants to say who was using it. And I gave the microphone to a doctor who I knew is using it in her house. And the doctor said, yes, I'm using it. We asked, can you tell us what is the reduction in your bill? She's a high-value international scientist and she was sitting next to her husband, another scientist. She said, my quarterly bill was 200. I said, what is now? She says, 35. She's saving 87%. I explained to the officials, this means you can not to invest to buy more power generators, but what you have can supply 6 times more. The public will share the production because they pay for the unit, and the government doesn't need to put the nation under debt for over 20, 30 years to buy the units which already is there. In a way, once we deliver the technology fully across Ghana, Ghana has enough energy to grow. Does not need to buy another power station. In the West, we see people saying we are a scam because it's what they are paid to do. In Africa, the directors of the power production nuclear centers who understand the technology and tested it, they confirm they have reached their reduction in their own homes. We know from Kenya scientists of Atomic Nuclear Center Commission connection, they are achieving nearly 90-95% reduction in their bills. Those who write that we are a scam, you can write because you've been paid to do. These are the same, what we call free energy guys. The only free energy was the children that were interested. The energy of a child. And now we see that. Anybody writes about Keshe Foundation, anybody writes how a scam we are, now you understand what they have to hide. They lost a child to play, they have to write something to get their vents out, as we call it in English. But scientists in Atomic Commission in 2 or 3 countries, as they come to Ghana and they've been taught by Benjamin and they've gone and they're producing these in their homes, they see their reduction. And this is amazing. Because, as they say, do you listen to the fools? The beauty of it is that the technology gives a chance to Africa not to go under debts anymore. Each family can afford to build the system. We go on televisions across Africa and teach people from now on. We showed a sweet and a stick to the television. People like to know because they can help themselves with malaria and the energy and the other thing. And television channels get a high audience and very good money for their advertising. They see us as a perfect match. And now who's going to have the program? Or are they all going to have the same program one day? If, as I said, in the conference, if the management, all of them, can have reduction in their electricity bill, why not the public? It was not liked, but it was understood. We don't have a choice. The knowledge has to be shared. And as I explained, as we share the knowledge and we bring comfort, now Ghana has a problem. If we keep the knowledge here that everybody comes here from all African nations, now we create another problem. So what we don't need is concentration of technology. So we spread the technology with everyone else. We see people submitting their papers from their electricity bill, but people don't care, is something done. Public heard from the directors reduction in their bills. You got to understand, a scientist in Ghana earns between 600 to 1,000 cedis. This is a local currency a month. Covering the bills, let's say if you earn 600, which is, or 800, or 1,000. 3 months is, let's say 3,000. Saving of 1,700, sorry, 170 CD is a part of that 3,000, because everything is used is the comfort which gives. Is 5 to 10% of the household expenses. Don't forget, they don't use electricity because it's too expensive. Now that it's cheap, it allows them to live more comfortable. It allows to put the food on the table. It's an additional shirt on the back of a child. It's another book to read, to add to education. In Africa, it's expensive if you don't have the knowledge to gather to have the energy. Now they can do. They are learning that they can use the same material, same process for infections. They're using the same thing for food. We teach extensively in Africa. As we said, Ghana will become jewel in the crown of Africa, and the whole Africa will become the jewel in the crown of humanity. The reality is, I brought the knowledge. The reality is, you spread the knowledge. And I thank you for it. Without every single one of you, it would have been impossible. You have participated in changing humanity, and that's where we're going. Every single one of you. Does not matter you ever appeared anywhere on the foundation, but if you used it to change your life, you have spread the time to have the knowledge. And then you teach another. This conference is a turning point for humanity and for the Keshe Foundation. Malaria will go public with it, how to use it. It would not kill that much, and because it touches more or less 1/3 of humanity, if you go on the internet, put the map of malaria of the world, you will see it's not just Africa, it's a lot of people. On the other hand, all of you who live in the north have no malaria problem, When you come to the south, you take so much chemicals to kill it if you are here in fear of not getting it, and you poison yourself more. So it's your problem too. We saw how HIV was spread in Africa, in some cases deliberately. And we saw how it took Europe in the same way. Now there is a solution. Keshe Foundation technology has delivered the solution. We are not talking about we can do, we have, we deliver, and now we deliver it internationally. Please spread the technology. Please spread the knowledge. The point is, if any of you can spread the knowledge that saves one life, not from death, but even one pain from cancer by 1 hour, is your responsibility to do so. Spread the knowledge. You have never heard a scientist to say, give it, spread it, do it as much as you can. My technology is free. It is free. It's free for humanity. Teach it in every way you can, in any language. I received a communication and Stanley said, this is your book in Chinese, they're downloading it. It's in English and then the Chinese version, the next paragraph. I said, it's good, let them do it. I promote the spread of the knowledge as long as it's used for peace. And if you read in the article somewhere, the head of Ghana Atomic says that this is part of the structure. He will bring what we are looking for. Knowledge in exchange for peace. It was understood fully by the military officers of different rank, Air Force, Land and Marines and the police and Fire Brigade who were present. So, we have started the change. You have started the change. The beauty of it is, now we have connected 3 scientific groups at the highest level across this planet to work to share the same knowledge and publicly share it. As I said, let the people who are busy with fighting, let them fight. We have a peace to make. And we make the peace. And I go back. Keshe Foundation, as an organization, invites you to Africa, Ghana. If you have a cancer, many of you flew across the world for stem cells to China and others. Welcome to Africa. The medicine's ready, it's for you, take it. It's done by governmental scientists, doctors in the governmental hospitals. You are in a frame. Ghana, in part, is as beautiful as London, built much better and more advanced. Take the image of Africa out of your head, because when you come here, you decide, why am I living in that place in London when I have the same thing here? The only thing you get in Africa is sincerity. What do we have for today? If you want to share before we start teaching. Rick?
Hello, hello, Mr. Keshe. Well, we do have Carrie, who I believe is still with us here, and I'm sure she's got some pictures and other, perhaps some video or something that she can show of what's going on with some of the workshop work that's been happening in the northwest of North America, specifically in the US, in Washington State, this week. Carrie, are you there?
I am here, and I'm here with Whitney and Nikki, who were very much participants this weekend. And then I think Colleen Black is on also. She's in Tacoma, but she's would help present this weekend also too. So I don't know if she wants to hop on with us, but I can
say
screen
something,
share.
Karen?
Yes.
Sorry to jump in.
What was that?
I said, can I say something just before you
Please.
start?
Please.
I thank you for your work.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. That means so much to us. And thank you for yours. We're so honored to be part of it.
The thing is, try to spread the knowledge as much as you can on the West Coast, that when the nuclear disasters come, people can save their lives.
Yes.
People will understand what you are doing when the time comes. Those who do not know, have not received the knowledge, they fear their life, and those that have received it, they say, oh, no problem, I have the liquid.
Yes.
So thank you very much for what you're doing, and what you have achieved is enormous, and I thank you from me and the Keshe Foundation worldwide.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sid. You don't know who you are training or giving the message to, that doesn't become the future scientists of the foundation.
Yes. Definitely.
Thank you very much. Carry on.
So we'll share screen, and we just have some slides we can run through and just tell really quick. Is that okay, Rick?
Yes, absolutely. Let's see what you have to present. I think it'd be great. I just showed the first picture that I was trying to find it here for the last couple of minutes, but it shows you and Whitney, and also Nikki and Shelley, who are all workers.
Right.
GANS goddesses, they call themselves. Goddesses of GANS, you might say. So I think that's
You know, it's really interesting. We've had a lot of support from ladies, although men are definitely coming out to these workshops as well. But we really see the feminine stepping forward, and I think it's one reason we keep using the goddesses of GANS, because it's just a really beautiful, warm. You know, I think the guys tend to get, like, this is the structure, this is exactly how it's supposed to be, and I think we're a little more creative, and we kind of just take it on, and we love it, and we are doing everything we can to teach it in so many ways.
we can be gods of GANS, though.
Yeah, gods of GANS.
Can I
guys for GANS?
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because of what you just said is becoming more feminine, I have to say this. I do apologize. As you know, I have high respect for women, the same as men. The World Council has been chosen in that way. Equal number of men and women. So when we announce the World Council, you will see there are 3 females and 3 males.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you will see this, and it's been set. And the last lady we can't get in touch with, we have sent a message. The other 2 ladies have already accepted. Strange enough, when we spoke to the men, they all accepted it immediately. It was there. For the 2 ladies, they had to think, and a few minutes later they called back and they said yes. Very strange. You women don't jump on anything without thinking about it. Carry on.
Beautiful. Well, we first of all would like to thank Heather Bryant, who is asleep right now. We're at her home, and she really worked hard to put together this event in Yelm, Washington, which is Washington State, kind of inland from Tacoma. It's also where Dr. Rodrigo is, and Mihal led with, and there's an amazing community here already, First to Consciousness community, and then there's probably 300 people who are already turned on to plasma and turned on to making Magrav and car units because of all the teaching that's already been done. And so what you're seeing right now is just the flyer that Heather put together. And we ended up doing, I do a slideshow in our traveling that's kind of an overview of the Keshe technology. We're near Rainier, Washington, which is a mountain. And we came to this home, and we all started talking about GANs. One of the girls actually printed up these shirts, which were really cute. And then we've got on the counter, we've got food, food GANs and aminos in the center part of the picture, and a feeding tube that Dr. Rodrigo gave me. So we began in a cup of life. We began immediately. This is Heather getting out her GANs collection, and she started making pads of all these different sorts and gave us each a beautiful, beautiful collection of what she's been making. And she was a Girl Scout leader. She is really organized and orderly in how she's doing this. This is us in her living room. And we just laugh at how much we all love GANs and coils. And when we get together, that's all we want to talk about. So Heather took us the next step from having us in her home and kind of exchanging these things to meeting with some of the ladies that had been helping her prepare this event. And so we had an event that was going to take place at this beautiful old theater called the Triad Theater. So on Tuesday night, we did the slideshow presentation. James Gilliland was going to come, but he didn't come because the weather was too bad. We were going to go see him, but and then we had a panel with Dr. Rodrigo and Heather and Whitney, which is in the process. It has already become a 21st Century Superhuman show, so it's already produced and it's up on Facebook. So here we are, kind of in this theater, getting ready, and it's this beautiful old theater. Going through the slideshow and then going into the panel. And we really had fun. We had a great audio system, and the audience, people said to us, wow, we haven't seen this much excitement in this theater in a long time. And the place was pretty full, and it was buzzing, and people were having fun and talking to each other and sharing, what they were learning and doing. Then we went from there to see Dr. Rodrigo. We went to his home, and we got to experience all the things that he's working on. The breathing tube, there's Whitney playing with the breathing tube, and he's showing us a helmet that he's working on and telling us about the health unit, and we each got to go inside of it and experience it, which is quite a beautiful energy. And Whitney, do you want to share about doing the exchange with the unit?
Yes, before you enter the unit in it, you really spend some time sending it some heart energy and appreciating the beingness that it is. And we both spent about 10 minutes in the energies there, and it was the most incredible energy. I'm very energy sensitive, and it felt like 20 people focusing energy right around you, right onto you. And a lot of healing within almost, just very 10 minutes. This whole week has been healing like that. But
yeah, it's been amazing. We're immersed in field upon field, all kinds of GANs and health units. But Dr. Rodrigo calls this the bridge. And it's really a bridge between the levels of our being and the dimensions. And you really feel it when you're in it. And I think that's, the thing that we all need to remember is that we're dealing with living conscious energy fields here, and we're not just making mechanical units. And I think we're very aware of that as we're out teaching. This is one of his MOGRAVs. He's working on getting 4 MOGRAVs around the edges of the health unit, and the health unit has salt water at the bottom. I'm actually going to do a show with him, kind of a training on how to build this health unit in the next month or so. And this is the small unit that he's built, which is, he told us a story of a man who had cancer on his hand and came and just got one of these small units, made one, and put his hand in there every day. And at the end of a month, there was no more cancer, there was no scar, there was just a normal hand. And so this being able to activate the plasmatic field for the body to choose the path of healing, very beautiful. We had a really lovely time with him, and really learned a lot. And it's amazing how much we're learning on this journey. I mean, we are out in the field and we're learning everywhere we go. We're expanding our knowledge. We're learning from everyone we're in touch with. there's an old saying that says we are all learners, doers, and teachers. So we're learning so much. And there, Dr. Rodrigo is on the team. Again, Heather had this whole team of people meet at this restaurant. We're actually putting together a show or a video on this entire process because someone else could do an expo like Heather did. So we did the Tuesday night introduction and the panel, and then Sunday and Monday we did an expo, which is amazing. We're going to show you that. But it was so well organized and so beautiful, and she had this whole team of people came from all over to help work on it together. And go ahead, Whitney.
Before we get into that, I'd really like to share. I just was at with Nikki at Dr. Rodrigo's home, and he shared with us that he's been working with a young boy who, I don't know, maybe
10 years old.
10 years old. And he was working with his hearing. He lost his hearing by around 17 months. And after only 10 days of being treated with the bridge device, he actually is hearing some sounds now. And he can hear with the help of hearing aids. And the story actually of it is quite phenomenal, because this young boy had asked the universe for help to heal his heal his hearing, and just within a couple days, Dr. Rodrigo called to offer that he could come and participate in the healing with this device. So it's a beautiful story.
Beautiful. Yeah. So this is Heather kind of doing a little training at the restaurant. We talked about, positions and how we would run this expo. It was really fun. And there's Mount Rainier and maybe some cloud ships around it. And the second we got to the building where we were going to do this event, a giant rainbow appeared, of course. Seemed to follow us everywhere. And so this was at a Lions Club building in downtown Yelm, and Heather had obtained the building, and really nice place to do this meeting. So we'll kind of zip through some of these. You can see us setting up, and we had different, she had designed it so we'd have different stations. So we had health pens at one station, and number 2 was health patches, and different people were, different ones of us were ready to do positions at these tables, and it was amazing. Different people would come to the tables and learn from us, and then they would start teaching. Mm-hmm. So we had, the whole room was kind of co-teaching each other by the time we got going. And this is such a beautiful plan of what Heather put together. We really want to write it up and make a video so someone else could do the same thing in another location. We feel like what we're learning and what we're kind of honing being out on the road, we want to just transmit it out so other people can do the same thing, because it doesn't just have to be us. So these are just some kind of fun pictures as we're setting this place up and getting ready for this event. And
what was nice is that everyone that participated and came to the expo left with a baggie of goodies. They had a pain pen and pain patches, and they got to coil an 18-turn coil. They really had a full experience. The first day, this is a gentleman that made some coiling machines. Those were gorgeous. But they had a full experience. And most of the people at the pain pen table where I was stationed for a while, they all felt the energy just from a single core pain pen, no additional coils on it. And yeah, this painting, Colleen?
Yeah. I don't know if Colleen can come on. Yay, Colleen, you want to tell a little bit, anything about your paintings? Your art is so amazing. We're just privileged to be with you.
Thank you so much. I have to try and whisper just a little bit because my daughter's sleeping in the next room, but this was a painting that I started when I was first listening to Keshe Technology. So well, cat's out of the bag. I was gonna I really wanted to gift this to the Keshe Foundation, to Mr. Keshe and Caroline. It's not quite done yet. I have to do a little bit more, but it's the 100th monkey, and so it's based on the research about monkeys and how we're all connected, and that once this hits a certain point, this will just spread. And I'm really happy to show that today with the great news from Ghana. And all of this whole workshop was just wonderful. My 7-year-old daughter came, and we actually did a little presentation on food GANs. I had all kinds of different food GANs there. And so each person could take a little bit of the watercolor paint that we were using and dip it in the plasma water of each different food GANs. And I had a number of different fruits and garlic and different Ganses that I'd made from the food. And I had the really cool part was that as each person would come up, they could paint different patches or they could paint a picture with the food GANs, or paint different parts, different areas, so that they could hang it on their fridge, and whenever they wanted to, they could go and get the field energy from a plantain, or get the field energy from the ginger, or whichever one they choose. So the interesting and most wonderful part about this was my daughter was helping me with this the whole time, and she was showing people how to just hold the GANs and just feel the taste in their mouth. And we had so many people that would come over and go, "Oh my gosh, I can taste the aftertaste of plantain," or I can taste that garlic. Then this was all just field energy. So it was just an amazing demonstration of so many things, and I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of it.
Colleen, can you tell a little bit about the painting right behind your back in this picture, because it's
Yes. Okay, this was a painting that I did while Douglas went to Washington, D.C. When I paint, it's like a prayer. So a lot of, with the GANs going into the painting, the painting is painted with soul GANs because I wanted the truth to come out. So I used the soul GANs in the mix, and this is a painting for Douglas and his family, for the kind work that they did and for the sacrifice that they made. And I know it was just a hard trip, and he did his absolute best, and we were behind him all the way, and it was just amazing. So I wanted to record the whole thing for him, and it's sort of the painting goes back, and you can see the United States behind it, and there's a lighted path that goes to Washington, D.C., and it's him and his wife, and they don't look exactly like them. And then I have their 5 children there, as a sort of, "You go, Mom and Dad," kind of a thing. And I need to get pictures from Douglas of his kids, just so I can get just a little bit more of their features on their faces and that kind of thing. But that's just a gift for him. For me, it's the same.
Yeah, having your art there was just so magical, such a beautiful addition to this whole thing. And having people at that table, there's another piece of your art there behind. You took us in the bathroom and showed us how that one lights up, and just beautiful. And there's Nikki, who's here with us. Nikki, you want to say something?
Well, hi, everybody. It was a wonderful 2 days of just nonstop sharing plasma technology with people. It was really fun I was on the patch table for a lot of the time, and everybody got to make their own patches and take them home and know what they were to be used for. It was a fun time.
Yeah, very cool. So we'll just keep zipping through a few of these pictures. We're seeing Heather talking. Heather actually, before the event, made these pads, and we've just made some more. Nikki made some more of them tonight, but they're for a massage table, and they have 2 different Ganses in them, and they actually made a 3-layer one tonight. But it's amazing how fast they will make you feel better and how fast they move energy. It's just really cool. And they just did that with the regular freezer sealer thing.
And I think they're both CO2, but they're made at different times and by different people. So there's a gradient. There's a difference in frequency between the 2 sides, and so that they're kind of open, so you don't have to lay with your spine on the GANs, actually there's no GANs. It's all plasma infused water. in here, what was amazing is the gal that was on this table most of the day, she was helping people with it. Everyone reported such amazing feelings and healing just from laying on these patches for about 10 minutes. It was a huge favorite for people and such an easy thing to make.
Yeah, really an awesome idea. Carolyn DeAngelis joined us, and she did a great job teaching. She had spent a bunch of time with Whitney in Montana, so we're watching everybody's skills multiply. And then Linda is our other host here. Gunter he's kind of taking a leadership role in the community as far as more meetings go, and tell his little story about his medication.
Oh yeah, Gunter, I met at the Triad Theater, and he was wearing GANs of his medications around his neck, and had decreased it within the last couple of weeks, decreased the amount of days he'd have to take it. So he's taking his medications every 4 days, which was fantastic.
And he is teaching Anna, who was our AV person at the Triad Theater, and she got so excited. She came and spent the whole 2 days with us and just was awed at what she was learning. Just all these different people we got to know. This is Heather's mix called Avatar Smoothie. So it's got amino acid GANs, fruit and veggie GANs, just the GANs water, and the nanoplasma technology. And then people got to taste that. Some of our staff, Yasmin, who's in the Goddesses of GANs group. And this is a flow chart that Whitney May, that she works with when she's teaching people how to wind coils. And just amazing, the interaction. There's the people on Colleen's art table. It's actually a mother and son. Merlin and Christine was one of the helpers on the conference. And Merlin was very involved, really great. Did you want to say something?
No, I just really want to talk about this STAR unit. This was one of the most historic moments, was when Wayne brought his unit here, and he has been lovingly making this, and it was operational for the first time at the event on Sunday, and everyone that came participated, could actually sit in this for 10 minutes. And then I kept on thinking about, if you build it, they will come, because I think it was somewhere around the 90th workshops where Mr. Keshe said, if you can build a Magrav coil big enough to sit in, and that Wayne took that to heart with his wife Belinda, and the most heart-centered, wonderful couple. They worked, they were sweating, getting people into this over the 2 days, an incredible experience in the middle of it.
10 minutes in it, and your life has changed forever. It is so, and he built it all to the pi ratio, and 1,000 turns in that coil. It's double coils, nano coated. Tons of, a whole year of just amazing work has gone into this, and the guy's really skilled. Really, really beautiful experience. You'll see a lot of people in it.
And he was, the second day was a workshop day, and everybody came, and we actually worked on a project together. And he really shared a lot of wonderful, valuable information with everybody. So there was a huge amount of sharing and upgrading of, even my knowledge, with what he knows from building this unit. So it was really fantastic.
Yeah, and he had it finished at 10 o'clock in the morning and brought it to the shop at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, at our expo was the first time anybody really got to sit in it. And it's an amazing, amazing experience. He actually agreed. He's very private and kind of doing things behind the scenes, but he agreed he would do a show with me, in the next few weeks, and kind of share what he's doing. But these are amazing. I'd like to see one in every town and city and healing center on the planet. Really, really cool. There's our little, what do you call those things? Yeah. Just beautiful people, beautiful connections.
She came from Texas.
Yasmin came up from Houston, Texas to join us. And there's Linda and Colleen, Nikki, and Joelle. Joelle was a big part of it. And There's Jack on the right, who is actually a distributor for Kesh Manufacturing, kind of patiently waiting for things to move more through Arizona. You can see a smaller version of the Star unit there, a little more of what the room looks like, but people just were going through transformational experiences sitting in that. This guy had World Peas, WHIRLEDPEAS on his hat. People were just so excited, so enthusiastic, teaching each other, learning together, just nonstop. Whitney doing her magic with the coils and teaching people how to put them together. This lady is so proud of what she did. And we encouraged people to bring units that they were working on and and we would help them move them the next step. This is a really nice little GANS prefab kind of unit that Heather has made that people can get. So it has all the pieces that someone can make GANs, a really simple trifecta GANs pre-made unit. This guy was a great cabinet maker, brought some really wonderful things. There's Whitney in the
Star unit.
The Star unit. Me, and just our tables, people using Dr. Rodrigo's health unit.
What was really cool is that everyone started to bring forth their special talents, that they were just really were starting to blossom into expressing their real self. And there was a tremendous excitement going on as everybody started to become real and more excited and was playing with the GANs and doing all the things together.
This is a really neat health cup made by the Arizona facility, and it's just a GAN-soaked piece of paper inside of a double-walled cup. And we thought that was really a brilliant idea. This was really neat. I think this has gone around different places, but I show in my slideshow how even just a straight nano-coated copper pin with the top curled over makes a beautiful plasmatic field. So they had all the things here together to make these pens so everyone could take one home. Basically some pens from the dollar store and the single wire. Nikki's demonstrating putting one together here.
And what was really great about this too is that everybody got to feel the energy from the simple little pen.
Simple pen.
They felt it and they made it and they got to take it home.
And the surprise, and when they said, this is simple, I can do this. And a lot of people said that, oh my gosh, I can do this.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest cool, aha we had was because Dr. Rodrigo is teaching at a little bit of a sophisticated level, which is fantastic because there's some great builders of amazing Kesh technology here. But this lady is a prime example. Her name was Susanna. She told me she was 75 and she kept wanting to come and sit and talk to me. And she said, we did a little video with her, and she said, you know, the most important thing I got out of this is I can do this. And what we were presenting was just so many simple ways that anyone could do it. And she was so excited. She could go home and do a cold caustic nano coating. We just teach with a Ziploc bag. We send people home with a coil and a Ziploc bag that's been sprayed with caustic, and they realize that that's how simple nano coating is. And you know, they can learn the more sophisticated process, but they get how easy this is. And she sat and just talked my ear off about how excited she was that she could do this, you know, the simple things. And so we're really enjoying teaching the simple things. The guy on the right was really great. He came in with a lot of knowledge and skills and kind of helped with the teaching process. There's a sculpture by Colleen Black, and everybody working on their things, working together, doing the coils.
What's interesting about the workshop day, so that it was a new format to have an expo,
Yes.
and then a workshop, and it really flowed really nice because people could come and experience little parts. And then we got together in the morning of the start of the day too, and we made a circle, and we really asked what people were wanting to learn that day and work together. And then we started on a mutual project. So we kind of dissected Wayne's car unit, and he had like a single coil Mograph car unit. And everybody kind of got to participate. Someone was taking pictures, someone was doing a diagram, someone was asking Wayne, how did you wrap your capacitors this way? And so everyone got to participate like they had been building, that they had their workshop in their own home. And so they left with hands-on skills. And we went through, in the last remaining group that went through the actual part where we were learning how to connect the Mograph coils, we sang the connections. It was beautiful, but we had a set, and it passed it around, and everybody traced the flow of the plasma flow through the coils so that they would know it. And some people, yes, sang the connections. So there's just a lot of creativity coming out in everyone, and it's so much fun that no one wants to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on for hours.
Yeah.
No one wants to leave.
Nobody wants to leave when we're done with our days. It's so much fun. And really, we're at the end here, but this is the whole concept that we're teaching to is many hands for peace. We're encouraging people to continue meeting as a community, and they all made that agreement while we were there. We did a blessing for Ghana with this group, which they love doing, and we also did a blessing for the plasma water that we're carrying around that has seawater, and it has water added from everywhere now, and it keeps increasing. And then people have been taking little pads and jars made out of that. So it's just really such a beautiful experience being out with all these people. We feel a wave going through the culture, where people are ready for it. It's just amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
And we also got to visibly see here some impacts of the CO2. In Heather's house, she sprayed her whole house and her trees outside, and she has these Jerusalem sunchokes that are normally about 6 feet tall. And this, right outside in the garden, they're nearly 20 feet tall.
Yeah.
A tree that she didn't bear any apples and now is laden with apples. We're seeing the actual results here, right here.
They do things like spray plasma water on their roof. They spray it in their yard. They just, like, the whole house is just, plasmified, as we call it. And
Inside and out of the car.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, it's a really beautiful experience being out teaching and sharing and learning as we go. And yes, and we feel that people are starting to get that the ways that they can use this and understanding. You may have noticed as we went through the slideshow, Heather printed out a whole lot of the really beautiful, like the disaster relief thing that Klaus made, and several of the different forms that have been made by different people in the Keshe organization, and they were all laminated and on the tables, and people could get copies of them. And we're putting up web pages that will have downloadable copies as well. So we're trying to make people feel like they have resources they can access, getting them more active together as a community, and seeing how they can begin serving the greater good by participating in this.
Ladies, if we allow you to speak all day.
Please.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. It's fantastic what you have brought and what we can see. This is how it's got to go. I always say it's part of what I call the Uranian belief. The women are the cornerstone of humanity and life. So it's you who brings up the next generation, and children always listen to the mother. So if the mother understands, the child will follow. And we see we're becoming not a women group, but we see more participation from females in the whole structure of the foundation. And this is beautiful. This is what we need. This is how we will expand. And as I said, the way I've been brought up when you respect the mother, you respect the whole family and you respect the humanity. Mothers are the head of a house in the Persian culture. And in the writing of Allah, he says, if you have enough money to send one child to school, and you have a son and a boy, a son and a girl, you send the girl to school, not the boy, because it's the mother who changed the future by teaching, not that guy, not this man. So criminals have a lot of things to do, and you will change it.
Mr. Kesh, if I could just say one more thing. This is Carrie, and thank you for your words. They're beautiful. Somebody commented, please go more slowly. Everything that we did here, and we have many more slides and videos, is all going to go into a show. We're trying to get it done in the next few days, so it will be online as a 21st Century Superhuman show. And we're trying to get all these segments of this tour produced so people can learn from it and gain from the experience. And so we're really putting forth a lot of effort. We're working every second of the time that we're not teaching, trying to get all these other pieces done so other people will be able to glean from what we're learning and experiencing here. So I just wanted to make sure that people know that.
Thank you.
And we also, interestingly enough, synchronistically, we're having an invitation to go to South Africa and teach. So I was just saying to Whitney, that's so amazing that you were just in Ghana and we're getting that invitation like today. And really amazing. And we're going to try and do what we can to make that happen.
Thank you very much. In the conference today, a guy came.
Sorry, Mr. Kesh, could you adjust your microphone there? We can't quite hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It sounds very far away.
Oh, I put a microphone on a second. Just wait, let me see if I can change it. A computer does not see.
That sounded better for a second there.
Yeah, my computer microphone.
You can hear it now. Yeah, it's louder now. Yep, thank you.
It changed over. The interesting thing is, as I was saying, in the conference, we had a guy in the first day approached me, and I asked him, where are you from? He says, I've come from Kinshasa, from the atomic center, the government of Congo. He was invited by IAEA to be present. He was part of International Atomic Energy Commission and was invited. I said, what's your specialty? He said, we are specializing in food section. IAEA has different sections to do with food, with environmental, it's protection and all sorts. And I said, he said, I've just flown in from Kinshasa for this conference and I'm going back. We saw scientists sent by his university and institute from north of Ghana to attend the conference. And he just arrived. He said, he just booked in and he was given a hotel room. And then we found out he just could manage the ticket to get there. And he walked in the hotel, they gave him a room, and the management in the hotel came to us and says, are you paying for this guy? We looked. And I said, if he's come all this way, we have to, because then he shares the knowledge. He sat 3 days with us. He more or less came empty pocket. The institute could only pay for the ticket of the fare. He stayed with us and he left last night. Yesterday afternoon, he came to me and said, I've learned so much. I can change so much in my area. A leading scientist, a professor from north of the country, attended the conference. Very old man, ex-director of the Ghana Atomic. And he said, you have to come to the North. North has to have the same knowledge. He will take the technologies in his 70s, 80s. He will take the knowledge and share it. And the strange thing is, something came up in the discussion in the conference, and a lot understood. One of the biggest fear, the people you're looking in this picture on the screen, they are the cream. They are literally the cream of Ghana. Most of these people are the leading scientists. Nation has spent everything they have, families have saved to want to become educated to this level. And they are geniuses. When you teach this lot, now they already start talking directly, teaching at the schools. Now they understood that the plasma technology we introduce is not something strange. They are nuclear physicists, they are trained. When I attended the management team 2-3 days before the conference, they all stood up, nuclear protection, nuclear physicists, it was a room of 40 nuclear physicists. And I stood up because after they introduced us, I said, I'm a nuclear physicist too. And it was just like, phew, the guy talks our language. And when we came to the discussion, when we started explaining, I explained to them something very simple. This is the fear of the scientist. I explained we had a matter. We expanded, understood more, we called it the atom. We expanded, understood more, we called it nuclear. And the only respect or what we see people have for nuclear scientists is the fear which we have created through nuclear bomb in people. The respect comes out of fear for nuclear physicists, not out of the knowledge. In so many ways, nuclear physicists are the narrowest minded people which I oppose, and I'm one of them. But keeping the open eye is the biggest problem. And I explained to them, as we went into the inner sanctum of the atom, now the next step, understanding the structure of what you call nucleus, the electron, what's inside of the proton. And so they had a comfort, and it was acceptable that this is what we got to need to go to the next step. And it made teaching so comfortable. I explained to them, it's not that we're destroying. And the guy, the professor, he seems a little guy on the left-hand side, next to the gentleman with the white dress next to me. He's a professor, one of the ex-directors of the Atomic Commission. He said, so what happens now? Why you call it? Can you change the plasma? I explained this has happened to me before in Italy. I said, the fear you have is what's going to happen to your titles. Now you have an extra title. You're nuclear physicist, plasma scientist. So now you all become plasma scientists on top of nuclear. Now you're atomic nuclear, now you become nuclear plasma. And that was acceptable because now they could see they're learning more, and this is need to be learned very quickly. And what is strange is you see in Ghana, it's very strange. If you look at the other pictures, military people of the highest rank always keep their hat on. Because to them, it's very strange whenever we spoke with any of them, even if they were in a plain clothes, they have a habit of raising their head to their head, the way they salute in the army. You knew you're dealing with the army guy, doesn't matter if he's wearing a clothes or not. And they understood the same. We had the security intelligence coming in to understand more, to be there. And they understood this is not a dangerous, this is addition of knowledge. Now we want it to. This is the beauty of this. Sharing knowledge the way you've done, the way what I saw with that gentleman, with that Magrav unit sitting inside it, this is magic. I know what it does. But we got to go one step further. We got to go to the step that these teachings become part of the national asset. When we say national, it's humanity, not one nation. Because we are already one nation. Maybe in the future, man will never call it one nation, we call it the one planet. Because I don't think the fishes have nationality as well. As we always say, birds and the fish don't carry a passport and immigration document. Why should humans do? If you look, more or less, me and Caroline, and except one guy in the left-hand side, are only the ones with a slightly different color with armor behind. It's totally pan-African. And it will succeed heavily because the scientists of the country have understood. And they will lead it down. And I explained to them, we have a problem.
Excuse me, Mr. We're getting an echo happening in the audio. I think someone, maybe the speakers are up too high, or there's something else playing. Another.
Note it down. This is my partner in crime, Caroline, listening on the mobile. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So what we explained, and I explained to these scientists, is if we go by me teaching you or Benjamin teaching you, and then in 3 or 4 or 5 years you're going to teach in the university, it's too late. As I said, every hour so many children and people are dying because of malaria or AIDS. We have to go public. We have to go rapid on the international, on the national television and broadcasting and teach people. And more or less is accepted. It's how we're going to do it in the next few days before we leave Ghana, that is going to be structured. The important part is the guys with the hat have become part of the scientific group. This was my promise. I'll bring world peace. We have started it. Army has become part of the scientific organization, part of the nation, to help the nation to transfer the knowledge. Now you see, I'll achieve what I said, and I said to Benjamin, I'll get what I promised. World peace by making the army to work for humanity, and they are proud of it because now they see their job is to protect borders. Now their job is to protect the citizen, not by arms, but now by teaching through their arms the knowledge that they can save their lives, they can have pure water. Scientists ranked among military and military among scientists. Very soon they will not wear uniforms. We invited them in and it's accepted because they understood the vital job is not carrying a gun, but it's carrying a paint pad, a paint patch, a disinfectant, a water purification technology. It's amazing. They didn't listen. I do a different way. I know all the ways to get man of arms become man of peace. And you see it in this and the other picture, the first day. Many ranking officers, high ranking officers, 3 stars. You could see on their shoulders on the ranking from different forces. They want to be part of the science that they can transfer it because they care for their citizens. And as I explained in the conference, once one army becomes a supporter of technology, the other army too, you'll find there'll be no borders. They go across, it's nearer to me to help than you lot getting from the other side of your capital. We cover this village because it's ours. I have got rid of borders and I came through the back door. I came through the science, and this was our promise. Science, technology in exchange for peace. I want to show you something, if you allow me the camera use, please. Can you allow me to open video, please? Rick?
Yes, yes, Mr. Kesh.
And then I want to share. How do I share camera? Okay. You can see me? No, you can't.
Yes.
I didn't see the glue wasn't there. No, you can't. I'm gonna go. Oh, I can't see my camera. Let me see. I open it this way. You can't start your camera because the host has stopped it. I can't do it. You're blocking me.
Okay. Second here, maybe we have to do something.
I'm on the Zoom.
You need to click share screen.
I've done that.
Maybe it'll work now.
But then after share screen, you need to select whiteboard and click the sharing.
I have to say whiteboard.
Yeah,
Very
because
good,
probably you
whiteboard.
had selected camera inside.
Where do I see the whiteboard, please?
Yeah.
Do you have your share screen button?
Yes, it's open.
Yeah, inside share screen is next to whiteboard is also camera, and this is
New share.
So if
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I want to go on the camera. I want to go on the mobile camera.
yeah. Then you need to click start video, but before that you need to select the right camera. You have many cameras. You turned on the internal one.
Okay, I've got it here. But how do I choose it? I see it on the side.
Yeah, you should be able to select it on the beside the start
Can you
video.
see this? I see it on the.
We see
oh, I
your
can-
fingers. We see your
Can you see
fingers.
my fingers?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's perfect.
To expand this. But I don't see it as a whole. I see it as a small part.
Yeah, Rick need to spotlight them.
Pardon? You see it? Okay. If you share it, we can see it now. Okay.
Yes, yes, we have it now.
Okay. Now what I want to show you is this. You see this? I come to it. This is, and products like this. This capsule is a capsule, 30 injection for cancer. We have many of them. And in a coming week, we'll produce 3,000 of them. That's the difference between malaria and no malaria. Cancer and no cancer. HIV and no HIV. And then you'll understand, as I said, there is no need for the man to fall because of a disease. You've all been waiting to see the cancer immunization system. It's in front of you. This is the malaria. This water can save life. We have developed it into a liquid water. From this state, it goes into liquid water. So you will see the technology not only by foundation, but the foundation as you is becoming complete in so many ways. Sometime by next Thursday, a man's life will be saved with one of these capsules. Sometime by next Thursday, a child's life in one of the hospitals here in Ghana will be saved from HIV with one of these capsules. That's how we lost cheaply life at this moment. That's all it cost. And as I explained in the lectures, very soon we'll develop a system that we can produce this in millions. The glass will cost more than the water inside it. We're not talking mass production of huge structures. We're talking what we call cottage industry. That's all it is. 2 milliliters of pure water will destroy more or less any germ. We don't talk. We have health certification for it. We never disclosed. We are authorized to use our material. A strange enough certification by European Community. I discussed yesterday in the meeting, just before Alex leaves, to find as fast as we can a faster way. You got a cancer, you got HIV. This is the answer. Come to Ghana. It'll be done by governments. It'll be done by leading scientists and doctors. And the strange thing is, not all the Ghanaians and most of Africa know it exists. Does FDA exist? Can FDA tell Africans you cannot use it because we haven't certified it? Because we haven't paid our paymasters? Now you see the change. Now you see how simple it's become. And now why you, Kerry, and others have to teach. Because by knowledge, we put aside the fear. This is what we got to do. By knowledge, understanding it, like is understood in the conference, that there is no fear. So those who are scaremongering are doing their job. Interesting enough, I told the officials, can you go on the website and look at people's what they write about us? These are all the pedophiles. They lost their master. They said, we know, we've seen them. We're watching. I asked the security guy, he said, let them make their way in Africa. Those of you who are in a free movement and they want freedom in different names and trying to be the others is wrong, look into the Keshe Foundation Security Services. You have created so much underground connections for the people who want to be free. Maybe it's time for you to work through the real freedom technology and bring your forces together to work with the foundation ethos. Because we have the technology, we can deliver peace. We'll start seeing very soon a lot of radical groups will come around foundation because they see through the foundation they can achieve their goals of freedom, this and that. But the knowledge of the foundation and the technology of it will melt them in. But the knowledge they bring allows us to set up the whole police force. Those of you who work on the fringe organizations, soon you'll be part of the foundation. and the fringes become totality in one group of people who care about humanity, and that caring will do a lot. We are not gathering radical groups. We are gathering people who understand how they can use the technology to bring peace. So now you see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to go again for you to understand. Value your life. Get on a plane. Africa is waiting for you. The mother stands. Gave life to humanity. Now it comes to protect his children. You got AIDS. You've been taking millions of tablets and thousands of dollars every year to keep alive. Liquid of life is in these bottles for you. Test it. You have fear of death through cancer and injections and chemotherapy and radiography and the rest of it, and radiation therapy. Ghana is waiting. You value your life, we give it to you. And I'll give you one thing. Those who come will not be disappointed, because I don't do it. I've just taught the knowledge. The scientists will do it for you. And this is the beauty of what you'll see. The knowledge is there for no man to suffer. And a lot of people have suffered to get this bottle here. The beauty with this one is that when we make it in a liquid and we put it on the legs and you wash yourself with it, it has a structure that the malaria parasite cannot live in. Water the rivers, water the house. You have no malaria to be worried about. Or do we put a shower of this at the end of the steps of aircraft when you land from Europe to give you a good wash? Then you're guaranteed beautiful time. This is where the change has come. And you brought it. We've done the same thing with water contamination. Now we are involved in 2 major water contaminations in Europe. The Keshe Foundation has set up a water decontamination division in Italy. And it'll grow very rapidly. Because now we have proven in the first instance immediately 90% reduction is one of the most cancerous agents. Now the change will come. The reason the conference was so successful in Ghana was because the paper submitted was done by Ghana Atomic. When you look at the papers on the top, it's Ghana Atomic or Ghana Water Commission. And their scientists submitted it. And so the trust was there. As the head of Ghana Atomic said in the press, we have tested, we have evaluated it. They have followed it for a year. They knew it works. Now is the time of implementation. Let us look what exactly we do with this material, because a lot of fear comes out of, in fact, not understanding. And the reality is how we have to understand the totality that we can explain. It's nice to give these talks